Mr. Obsidian. Prepare yourself for the Man of Black.
My body, my choice.
Always remember, 31 USC 3720B wage garnishment is a form of forced labor and peonage under 42 USC 1994. And when they don't listen to your lawsuit against the child support people for peonage, that's obstructing enforcement under 18 USC 1590, 1591. That is 20 years in prison. I think it might be a life sentence if they obstruct enforcement as well. And you can go ahead and do a criminal complaint form.
My body, my choice.
Javier Becerra, the U.S. Secretary of Health and Human Services, toured Planned Parenthood in Manchester Friday, following his department's delivery of a Title X Dire Need Grant, providing $500,000 to fill the gap left by funds rejected by New Hampshire's Executive Council over opposition to abortion.
We've got your back, and there have been some challenging times. I don't think they're over, but you hung in there, and we hope to make a commitment to you that we're not going to leave.
Secretary Becerra sat down with members of New Hampshire's federal delegation to discuss shrinking access to reproductive care nationwide and in the Granite State.
It's very disappointing to see so many people in Concord who have not been willing to educate themselves about what the needs of the women and families in this state are.
The delegation voiced disappointment in the loss of the bipartisan pro-choice consensus that held sway at the State House from Roe v. Wade until recent years.
Since the 1970s, the Title X program that provides annual exams, cancer screenings, STI treatment, it's been non-controversial, and it's helped achieve a level of wellness among our population that's really important. So I hope we can stress that this is about health care.
Planned Parenthood is grateful for this funding, but its leaders are still worried about what the rest of this year has in store for abortion rights.
We are in a crisis moment. We know that the Supreme Court is going to make a ruling soon that could possibly decimate abortion access in this country. We know that when that happens, 26 states could move immediately or soon to ban abortion.
Deeply consequential decision from the nation's highest court, ruling to overturn Roe v. Wade, rocking the foundations of more than 5 decades of legal precedent in our country. The court taking away a constitutional right that women in America have had for almost 50 years.
Your faith in my Glock 9mm, I take my Glock.
The fact that guns in these shootings are legally obtained says that these laws need to be changed, but most importantly, weapons designed for combat need to be removed from the streets of the United States.
The president emphasized that the latest gun control bill doesn't go far enough. He says he'll continue to push for an assault weapons ban.
I'm determined to ban these weapons again, and high-capacity magazines that hold 30 rounds.
Human Services, Javier Becerra joins us now. Secretary Becerra, welcome. Thank you for being with us. So, of course, as you know, President Biden signed the Safer Communities Act more than a week before the Highland Park mass shooting took place. Will this new legislation help prevent similar tragedies?
The president himself said that chances are there'd be Americans alive today had this legislation become law before some of these shootings. It won't save everyone because we need to go further, but this is a critical first step.
Sent me a copy.
Let's do it. I want to thank all of you for being here today. Javier Becerra, Attorney General for the state of California. I'm here to talk about our report that we have now released publicly and should be now in the hands of the administration and hopefully now in the hands of the public as well. Before I get into the report, I'm going to acknowledge quite a few things that make it possible for us to do the work that lets this issue important for us, trying to help keep California safe. Bill Ferrari, Special Assistant, Troy Annabelle, Director of Office of Legislative Affairs, Ashley Ayers, who's a Deputy Attorney General in the Office of Legislative Affairs, Chief Kevin Gardner, Chief of Justice, John Marsh, who's our Assistant Chief, and Marty Horan, who's actually standing right next to John Marsh, who is the Director of the Bureau of the APPS program.
Why am I adamantly opposed to the nomination of Becerra to lead our health department in America? Well, as Attorney General in California, he literally decided, not with workers, but with labor union bodies. He pursued legal action against charities whose primary purpose is to help those who cannot help. He attacked the little sisters of the poor. He attacked constitutional rights of law-abiding gun owners. And he consistently pushed for policies that undermined health care, and he was a champion of government-run health care. As a member of Congress, he voted for taxpayer funding of abortion. Said differently, he took away your rights to oppose your dollars being used for abortions. And he also, and I'll never understand this, he voted against a ban of partial birth abortions. If there's anyone that is antithetical to growing confidence in the public forum, It's Attorney General Becerra.
I don't like your jerk-off name. I don't like your jerk-off face. I don't like your jerk-off behavior. And I don't like you, jerk-off.
You're just afterbirth line, though. Slithered out on your mother's filth. Oh. They should have put you in a glass jar on a mantle.
You're a fucking secretary. Fuck you! Yeah, that's my message to you. Fuck you and kiss my ass.
You're an emotional fucking cripple. Your soul is dog shit. Every single fucking thing about you is ugly.
Look up idiot in the dictionary. You know what you'll find?
Picture me?
No! The definition of the word idiot, which you fucking are.
It's unbelievable. Now put the fucking cameras in this place.
Oh, who the fuck are you? I'm the guy who does his job. You must be the other guy.
This is your last chance. What do you think?
Why don't you go home and fuck your mother some more?
How would you like to suck my balls?
What did you say?
I'm sorry. Actually, what I said was... How would you like to suck my balls?
It looks to me like the best part of you ran down the crack of your mama's ass and ended up as a brown stain on the mattress.
Is this true?
Yes, it's true. This man has no dick.
You stupid, ignorant son of a bitch, dumb bastard! Jesus Christ, I've met some dumb bastards in my time, but you outdo them all. Get over there!
I think of a man, and I take away reason and accountability.
This one, real fucking ugly.
One ugly motherfucker.
Listen, your mother sucks fucking big fucking elephant dicks. Got that?
You know what happens if you do another turn in the joint? Fuck your father in the shower and then have a snack. You're gonna charge me, dickhead?
I've been in this business 15 years.
What's your name? Fuck you! That's my name!
You two are just dumber than a bag of hammers.
Don't give up your day job.
Don't do that.
If revenge is a dish best of cold, it's time to feast!
Magic? Magnum!
Anything else?
Uzi 9mm? Knives, stabbing weapons.
18 credits, please.
Sue me, dickhead.
Gotta promise me you're not gonna kill anyone, right?
Right. He'll live.
Say hello to my little friend!
I'm coming to get you.
Mr. Kelly to inquire.
Thank you, Chairman. Mr. Secretary, good to see you. I do want to go over some things because I think at the end of the day, we start to talk about real dollars. And I think it was Everett Dirksen that said, a billion here, a billion there. Pretty soon you're talking about real money. Now it seems to be a trillion here, a trillion there. Now we're talking about real money. I think the thing that's most disturbing about that, I've been told now for 11 years, you can't expect the government to work the way businesses do in the private sector. And I would say it's just the opposite of that. There's no way anybody in the private sector can operate the way the government does. As we look at this mounting debt, and I'm trying to understand going into the future, when is enough, and at what point do we start to look at what is the return on the investment to the American taxpayer? You and I are both in the same business. It's funded by taxpayers, either their revenue each year or the money that we borrow. There is one thing, though, I want to point out to you. So my understanding is there's about 80,000 people that work in HHS. Is it with a $1.8 trillion budget? The problem I have is that several times I have written HHS, and I'll just go over them real quick. And then also, Chairman, I'd like to submit these for the record. So last year, you and I talked about this in April. It was Secretary Becerra last April. I sent you this letter requesting a copy of the contract for the emergency intake site established by HHS in Erie, Pennsylvania for unaccompanied children crossing the border. You and I also spoke about it at length at our June budget hearing, where you committed to get me an answer in a timely manner. Instead, the department sent me, and I have a copy of the letter, and mostly what it is thank you for inquiring. We appreciate that, and we'll get back to you at some time in the future. I've never had an answer to it. I also sent a letter, and there's 90-some of our colleagues that are on this letter. And this has to do something that is really, for those of us in the pro-life side of this body. Secretary Becerra, as you know, Congress has a long-standing requirement that taxpayer dollars may not be used for abortion. That's why I was disturbed when, in September of last year, I began hearing allegations that the University of Pittsburgh was performing illegal abortions as part of an NIH-funded fetal tissue repository program. Since that time, I have signed on to several letters to you on that topic, including this letter that I led with more than 92 of my colleagues outlining specific data we wanted NIH to provide. We've never had a response. Instead, I've had 3 letters, and this will pretty much sum up where it is. And this is from the Department of Health and Human Services, and this is Tara A. Schwartz, who's the acting principal deputy director. Now, why do I bring it up? Because customer service, this is not a complaint department, this is customer service. The way this letter starts off is, Dear Representative Kelly, thank you for your September 21, 2021 letter. Thank you for your October 29, 2021 letter. And thank you for your letter of December 15, 2021 regarding your concerns about research at the University of Pittsburgh. The answer was that Pitt funded an independent study to find out that they were doing nothing wrong, and what NIH said to me, you should go onto the website if you have any further questions. 80,000 people, almost $2 trillion in the budget, and I get a letter back, thank you for your inquiry, go to our website to get an answer. That is hardly good customer service. I'm not talking about members of Congress, I'm talking about hard-working American taxpayers who are paying for these services. We do a lot of wonderful things. The government doesn't pay for one damn thing, taxpayers do. I'm just asking, please, sometime before I expire or you leave office, please get me an answer to these questions I have. It's not me that's asking them, it's constituents asking me to find out for them. It would be great to have that type of a dialogue sometime. Thank you.
Whatever the differences of opinion we have here, we don't want the gentleman to expire.
I think you are a thin-dicked politician threading the needle with your thin dick. Plan B?
Well, in other news this morning, Planned Parenthood Greater Northwest has now filed a 3rd lawsuit against the state of Idaho following 2 other filings in March and June of this year. This petition challenges Idaho's ban on abortion after fetal or embryonic cardiac activity can be detected. The ban amounts to a criminal prohibition on abortion in the state of Idaho at about 6 weeks of pregnancy. Unless the court intervenes, that 6-week ban will become effective on or around August 19th.
Plan B?
Well, the Health and Human Services Secretary comes to St. Louis today. Xavier Becerra will visit the Planned Parenthood location in the Central West End. He and Congresswoman Cori Bush will join a roundtable discussion. They'll look at the upcoming Supreme Court ruling on Roe v. Wade. They'll also discuss Medicaid law. Missouri lawmakers recently voted to block public funding for Planned Parenthood services, including non-abortion services.
Plan B?
I'll bet you're just waiting to talk about abortion. And I'm going to start with something that's a fact. During the second trimester of fetal surgery, doctors may administer anesthesia to reduce pain experienced by the unborn. So, question, do you believe it should be routine to also give anesthesia to unborn children during late-term abortion to minimize the pain that they're capable of experiencing?
Senator, you're asking I know an important question, but a very technical question, and you're moving into an area which I know carries with it very deeply held beliefs, where folks sometimes have differences, and I respect that. I also want to make it clear that I respect the law and
Plan B?
the science. And what I can tell you is that in my career of having worked to protect the health of all Americans, men, women, young, old, what I would do as Secretary is what I've done as the Attorney General of our state, and that is I would follow the law.
Plan B?
Planned Parenthood is on the defensive this morning, facing an investigation of its practices. An undercover video alleges the reproductive health organization sells body parts from abortions. The group says the claims are flat out untrue. Jan Crawford is in Washington, where 3 congressional committees are now getting involved. Jan, good morning.
Well, good morning. So the video was secretly recorded by the anti-abortion group as part of a 2.5-year sting operation. Here, 2 members posed as employees of a biotech firm to get access to a top doctor at Planned Parenthood. And over lunch, they recorded the whole conversation.
A lot of people want exact parts of the data.
In graphic detail, Planned Parenthood's Senior Director of Medical Services described how to preserve valuable fetal tissue during an abortion.
We've been very good at getting parts on liver. We know that we use, so I'm not going to crush that part. I'm going to basically crush below, then I crush above, then I can see that get it intact.
Over wine and salad, she answered questions about the organization providing fetal tissue to researchers, typically for a fee.
I would say it's probably anywhere from $30 to $100, depending on the facility and what's involved in it.
Plan B.
The backlash was immediate. Republican presidential candidates pounced.
I just think it's outrageous and disgusting.
And Congress announced it will investigate.
I don't care how much political weight Planned Parenthood throws around this town. No one is above the law.
Plan B.
Planned Parenthood says it is following the law, that it provides the tissue legally for scientific research with consent from patients and no financial benefit.
Plan B.
Thank you. Mr. Secretary, thank you for being here.
Thank you.
In September of 2021, Mr. Secretary, records obtained by the National Institute of Health regarding a $1.5 million grant to the University of Pittsburgh to provide fetal tissue for research related to genitourinary tract issues, kidney, bladder, etc., raised concerns that the university may have violated the law by altering abortion procedures solely for the purpose of obtaining fetal tissue, and that aborted babies were born alive and killed by organ harvesting.
Plan B.
I and my colleagues have written several letters concerning this matter. We remain concerned that the university may have violated the law and NIH regulations. If the tissue being used for this research was derived from aborted babies who were born alive and then killed by organ or tissue harvesting, would that be a violation of law?
Congressman, there are absolutely standards that have been set for the use of fetal tissue. There are laws in place to make sure we're protecting the practice of securing that fetal tissue. And I think all of us understand are very mindful of the importance of making sure that we do this the right way. Fetal tissue has been instrumental in helping so many Americans find life-saving treatment, and we have to make sure that we are respectful of the standards that are in place to make sure it can be done in the right way.
Plan B.
Therapy program where we are going to try to do everything we can to get some of these innovative treatments that are coming as a result of all this phenomenal science, and we're going to try to make it available to more and more people, because otherwise you've got to be a millionaire and lucky to have access to some of these treatments, and most folks who have sickle cell are not. So what we're doing is we're creating
Plan B.
this new program, and what it does is it simply says, states, join with us. If all of us combine together and tell the manufacturers of these therapies, we will buy your product. We, not the individuals, we, the state and the federal government, will help pay for those products, and with the insurance companies when they have insurance. And we guarantee you business. Because if you try to shop this product to those individuals by yourself, only a handful will be able to afford that product.
Plan B.
Thank you for that. So you do agree that the federal government has a duty to ensure taxpayer dollars are not used for illegal harvesting of fetal tissue?
Plan B.
But if you come to the states and the federal government and you let us buy your product for less than $1 million, substantially less, we'll buy a lot of your product. And so the power of our collective and give us the ability to guarantee that manufacturer real return on their therapy. Because if they wait for you individually to buy it, very few can say that raise your hand seconds more. The states and the federal government go forward with the plastic budget. It's almost like a subscription model.
Plan B.
We have to make sure that no taxpayer dollars are used in ways that are not appropriate under the law.
And you mentioned about research that is derived from this. Can you name a single clinical treatment that has utilized fetal tissue research in this development? Because I was not able to identify.
Coming from California, where we actually passed an initiative, statewide initiative, that provided monies to set up a center to do the research and help promote this within the private sector so we could harness the energies and the science. I am more than willing to provide you any number of studies, any number of examples of how fetal tissue has not only been life-saving, but has promoted the well-being of so many Americans who otherwise would not have any other method for their treatment.
Plan B.
The two pro-life activists who exposed Planned Parenthood's practice of selling baby body parts are now being charged with 15 felonies in the state of California for violating the privacy of healthcare providers. Journalists David Daleiden and Sandra Merritt face a felony count for each person they secretly recorded and an additional felony charge for criminal conspiracy.
Plan B.
Thank you, because we were not able to find a single development, even though it's been used for research since the 1920s, so I would appreciate that. I have another question regarding Medicaid spending. Medicaid spending is, in my mind, on an unsustainable path, ballooning more than 360% over the last 2 decades. The Trump administration had instituted some efforts to rein in this spending and put guardrails on it, but this administration has done the exact opposite. I am very concerned of its long-term sustainability. I'm also particularly concerned for my state. As you know, the federal government typically pays 50% and the states pay 50% of Medicaid obligations. New York State is unique in that it saddles local county governments with paying a portion of this county share. The county I reside in Erie County, 70%, over 70% of its county real estate taxes have to go to Medicaid spending, $250 million. This is an extreme burden, one reason our property taxes are so high and why we're losing people and businesses in our region. What are you doing in terms of making sure that Medicaid is sustainable? Because I do not believe it is on a sustainable path in terms of its exorbitant growth.
Congressman, thank you for the question. I hope we can all agree that but for Medicaid and the ability to provide services to so many Americans during this pandemic, that we would have lost far more lives than we have. We know that today Medicaid is providing services to more Americans, some 80 million plus Americans, that has kept them in the game. And we know that once the public health emergency expires, that opportunity to stay healthy and to have access to care through Medicaid might expire for millions of those Americans. And so we're going to work really hard to make sure that not only is Medicare sustainable moving forward, but it is continuing to provide the care that's kept so many Americans alive and healthy. Well, we'll look forward to working with you on that.
Thank you. I appreciate that because I understand what you're saying. I just do not believe it is sustainable and there's not an answer provided in that. Thank you. I yield back.
Thank you. Anyone else seek recognition?
You tell him! You tell him I'm coming! Tell him I'm fucking coming!
I'm going to bring the whole fucking diseased, corrupt temple down on your head. It's got to be biblical.
I got something planned for your wife and kid that they ain't never gonna forget. They ain't never gonna forget. Neither will you, Counselor.
You're there in 30 minutes or I find you, Jerry, and I shoot you, and I shoot your fucking wife, and I shoot all your little fucking children, and I shoot them all in the back of their little fucking heads. You got it?
I only tell you one time. Don't fuck me, Tony. Don't you ever try to fuck me.
From now on, you better be looking behind you when you walk, because one day you're gonna get a bullet in your back.
for Obsidian. Prepare yourself for the Man of Black.